Some people know their calling at an early age. When I was in second grade, I was in the gifted students class. And so, yeah, we all expected to be challenged, but our teacher, Mrs. Blumenfeld, she was mean, like drill sergeant, mean to 7-year-olds. One of my classmates was throwing up at lunch every day. Wasn't me. That wasn't, a friend was throwing up. No, a friend actually was throwing up. And so I went home and I told my mom this. And my mom said, well, do you want to transfer out of the class? And I said, well, no, that's not the point. I want to be in this class. I just want her not to be so mean. My mom thought about it and thought, well, okay, that's right. I'll tell you what, I'll make an appointment with your teacher and with the guidance counselor, and we'll go down and you'll tell them what you told me. What, me? I'll do that? And she said, yeah. If you can tell it to me, you can tell it to them. So I did. And the guidance counselor looked at me and said, well, do you want to transfer classes? I was like, no, this is not the point. I want to be in this class. I just want her not to be so mean. And besides, if I transfer out of the class, okay, that might fix my problem, but that's not going to be right for everybody else who's left behind. And Mrs. Blumenfeld actually said nothing. I'm pretty sure no one, let alone a 7-year-old, had ever said anything remotely like that to her. After that, well, she was never really warm and fuzzy, but she did lighten up a bit and life got better for all of us, including the girl who stopped throwing up. And a small measure of justice for the kids of PS 253 was achieved. And a few years later, when I was 11, I wanted to play Little League. Now, the year before, I had played on the girls' softball league that was run by the same league, but I've got little tiny hands, and they were smaller then, and so I liked the baseball better than the softball. But there was really more to it than that. See, the boys got uniforms. The girls got t-shirts. The boys got to play on a field. The girls got the concrete schoolyard. As an aside, if you ever find yourself playing ball on a concrete schoolyard, do not slide, especially in shorts. But I digress. Anyway, I might have only been 11 years old, but I knew unfair bullshit when I saw it. So I said to my mom, well, I want to play on the boys' Little League. And my mom, God bless her, said, is there a reason why you can't? And I said, I don't know. So I got the league rules and I read them. What 11-year-old does that? But there was nothing in the rules that said I had to have a certain chromosomal complement or that I had to have particular genitalia to be able to play, so I figured I was good. And I marched down and said, I want to try out for the boys' softball, the boys' baseball league. And there was a lot of stunned looks and a lot of shuffling of paper and some hemming and hawing and a lot of, well, you know, we can't give you any special dispensation, and if you don't try out for the girls' softball league and you don't make it onto the boys' league, we're not going to be able to let you on. And I just kept saying, you know what, I'm going to take my chances. Because frankly, I knew I was a pretty good ball player. And ultimately, they reluctantly, because I had the rules on my side, let me try out. And I became the first, but not the last, girl on the West Brighton Little League. A few years later, when I was in high school, the school changed their cafeteria contractor. Oh, and the new contractor just sucked. The food was bad, the service was bad, the students were unhappy. I happened to be one of the vice presidents of the student government at the time, so I thought, hey, this is a good time for me to try to do something about this. So I organized a committee and we did surveys of the students, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they wanted to see. We went and researched other cafeteria school service providers. We met with the principal. I don't think she was kind of cool to us publicly, but frankly, I think she was a little proud of us. And while they kept the contractor made a bunch of changes in response to what the students wanted. So right about now, I figure you're all thinking, I know what she wanted to be when she grew up. That's right, a scientist. I was going to be a MD, PhD biomedical researcher. See, when I was 10, I was playing with a chemistry set, and I put some stuff in the test tube, stuff that I'm sure they don't sell in chemistry sets anymore, and it exploded. Coolest thing ever. Yeah, and so that was that. And I took AP Chem and AP Bio. As a senior in high school, I was interning in a genetics lab looking at little fruit fly wings under a microscope at Mount Sinai Hospital. As a freshman in college, I was taking organic chemistry and upper-level immunology. And by the middle of sophomore year, I was miserable. I'd never been miserable in school before, but I was miserable. And I knew I needed to make a change, but I had no idea what that meant. So I ended up getting my degree in political science, which I'd already been planning on minoring in, so that was convenient, but I still didn't know what to do with it. I'd watched my brother go to law school, and that seemed completely miserable, so that was kind of out. Still, there was one day where I just kind of offhandedly mentioned to my mother that I was thinking about maybe kind of taking the LSAT. And my mother, who was this fabulous supportive parent, who was, anything you want to do, you can do it, and I support you. And that was the limit of her, advice, one way or the other. When I said that I was thinking about taking the LSAT, she practically leapt out of her chair to tell me how great an idea that was, which immediately made me suspicious. But I took the LSAT anyway. And I still really didn't know what to do, but finally, senior year and graduation and the rest of my life was looming in front of me. And well, let's see, I was going to have a degree in political science. I didn't want to get a job. And I did really well on the LSAT. So, law school. And, after a quarter of a century later, looking back, I actually have to say, I've really enjoyed my legal career. Working as I have for public interest, public service, nonprofit organizations has been both intellectually stimulating, but more important, it's been really soul satisfying. So on the one hand, maybe I did stumble into a legal career, but maybe I was really always meant to be a lawyer. Maybe when nature knows what your calling is, it doesn't have to be obvious to you because nature knows you're going to answer the call eventually. Thank you.